So how do we learn to practice a new skill? The most effective practice strategy is deliberate practice, where you use the insight and knowledge from an expert to help you learn and practice your new skill. This is much more effective than naive practice, just performing a skill over and over again, hoping to improve. But what happens when you don't have access to an expert to guide you in your practice? In the absence of a mature field of practice or a readily available expert, purposeful practice is still a viable strategy for improving skills. The key stages of purposeful practice are goal setting, feedback, time, pushing beyond your comfort zone, and focus. To illustrate how to apply purposeful practice, we will use the example of realism finger painting, which is an arbitrary skill with no established expert field to draw best practice from. To achieve a high standard of realism finger painting using purposeful practice, we first need to break down our main goal of improving performance into smaller specific sub-goals. To improve a finger painting, you might make goals such as learning to use each finger as a different size brush to create lines of various widths, getting comfortable making basic shapes, getting comfortable making more complex images, learning to use color to create a realistic effect, and finally applying all of these techniques together in one painting. These smaller progressive goals all work towards the final goal of being able to create realistic finger paintings. Second to goal setting, you need a high quality feedback mechanism. Not only is external performance feedback needed, but an introspection into your actions on why errors were made and where weaknesses are present is necessary. Even if you can't receive your feedback from a skilled expert, any feedback is useful and can help motivate you to improve. In the context of learning to finger paint realistic art pieces, try to analyze your created pieces against well-established criteria from regular painting disciplines such as form, line, and composition to see where improvements could be made. Have friends in the arts review your paintings and point out aspects that can be improved. Also, use introspection to monitor specific techniques, observing the angle of your hand or the amount of pressure on the canvas. Then identify what worked and what didn't work. Another important aspect to practice is setting aside sufficient time to practice your desired skill. For finger painting, not only do you need to set aside enough time to practice painting and work on the goals you created, but you also need to dedicate time to receiving high quality feedback, allowing enough time for introspection and for others to review your work. You might consider making a small painting each week, gathering external and internal feedback on how to improve between each new painting. By doing so, you gain more experience and familiarize yourself with the medium. The next element of purposeful practice is pushing beyond your comfort zone. Practice is most effective when you push further beyond your capability, and this means it is important to focus on what you can't do rather than what you can already do. Focus on new skills to start with, then gradually attempt more complex techniques, compositions, and subjects. For example, many artists struggle with human subjects, especially complex areas like faces and hands. So keep practicing what you're rubbish at to improve. Finally, you need to give the task your full and undivided attention whenever you set aside time to practice. Rather than painting on autopilot, you should be consciously applying skills you have built up and techniques you think will work best, while keeping in mind improvements you receive from feedback. This requires a lot of focus, so make sure you limit all distractions in your environment. This ensures your practice is more effortful than simply following what everyone else has done previously. If you use all of these techniques together, you can practice any skill effectively, even without an expert instructor. Thank you for watching.